Hey, it's 12:30, so good afternoon, alumni. Thank you for joining us and welcome to episode five of the Alumni Insiders, a production from the Michigan Tech Alumni Board of Directors. My name is Steve Williams. I'm an alumni board director, also a proud mechanical engineering graduate of Michigan Tech. So happy to be with you today. So to ensure our event runs smoothly, I'm going to be joined by several of my fellow board members who will be monitoring questions. I'd also like to graciously thank our alumni engagement staff who are here with us today and support everything we do as a board. Couldn't really do it without them. Just a few announcements before we jump in. The webinar will be recorded and posted on Michigan Tech's YouTube channel to share rewatch if you aren't able to stay the entire time. We also have the Q&A box open throughout the webinar. Please enter your questions here. We'll attempt to answer as many of them as possible, and that can start as soon as you have something on your mind. So without further delay, let's get into the excellent topic we have queued up for today, the Thompson Scholar Program at Michigan Tech. If you're like me, I know you will be surprised and incredibly impressed by the scope of philanthropy endowed by Bob and Ellen Thompson upon the Michigan Tech students, many who may not have been able to attend college without this generous support. The impact is truly stunning. One of the unique elements of this program is the requirement that everyone involved has some skin in the game. The Thompson Foundation, Michigan Tech, both financially, and the students themselves, who must not only uphold high academic standards and conduct, but also give back to the community. If you take a look at the Thompson Foundation website, you'll find there's a great quote on there that summarizes the desired outcome for these future leaders. It reads, "Your greatest measure of a life well lived isn't your accomplishments, it's how much good you left behind." I think this is probably great advice for all of us as well. This episode of The Insider will be a bit unique in that we will have four guest panel, to showcase the full bandwidth of the Thompson Scholar Program. Providing us with background and specific details would be Nicole Piazza, who's the director of the Thompson Scholar Program. Nicole has spent the last year serving as the director of the Thompson Scholar Program at Michigan Tech. Prior to this role, she worked for 4 years for Michigan Tech's ROTC program, where she served as a scholarship and recruiting operations officer. This role was part of a 16-year career as a government civilian for the departments of Army and Coast Guard, where she directed programs in post-secondary and career planning, employment transitions, volunteer initiatives, and youth development. Nicole holds a bachelor's in social science and a master's in secondary education, both from James Madison University. And then today, Nicole's going to be joined by Tucker Nielsen, who is the program coordinator. Tucker has served 2 years as the coordinator of the Thompson Scholar Program at Michigan Tech. They graduated from Michigan Tech with a bachelor's in English, followed by a master's in rhetoric, theory, and culture. They've held numerous part-time positions as a student across campus, from part-time coordinator in student leadership and involvement to coaching at the Writing Center for nearly 4 years. Tucker is currently pursuing a second master's degree in industrial heritage and archaeology, continuing their work with diverse people across the Lake Superior region. And in addition to Nicole and Tucker, we have the good fortune to be joined by Bethany Brown, who is a third-year computer science major and is currently part of the 2023 cohort of Thompson Scholar, and Hollis Aitken, who graduated with a BS in computer science in 2025 and was part of the 2021 cohort. Bethany hails from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and keeps herself very busy on campus. In addition to being a Thompson Scholar, Bethany is on the Tech Rowing Club, has participated in several enterprise projects, has been an undergraduate research fellow, a tutor, an orientation team leader, and is one of the fantastic tour guides that showcase the campus so well for prospective Michigan Tech students. Hollis came to Michigan Tech from Dearborn, Michigan, and is pursuing a graduate degree at the University of Michigan Dearborn, studying human-centered design and engineering. I'll invite Nicole and Tucker to kick us off. They're going to show a couple overview slides just to give you a little bit of background, and then we'll follow up with that, talking to Bethany and Hollis to get some perspective on their experience with the program, and then we will jump right into questions. So, Nicole, welcome, and if you want to take over and show your overview slides, we'll go from there.
All right, wonderful. Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Steve. We appreciate the opportunity to join this afternoon. And I'm truly grateful to be here to share more about the Thompson Scholar Program and to be joined by my amazing staff member and a current and former student that work together to make this all possible in Michigan Tech. So, as mentioned, I've been the director of the Thompson Scholars for about a year, next week actually. And our program, although it has been on campus since 2020, became an official department on campus during that same time frame. During today's conversation, I'd like to focus on sharing a little bit about the background and intent of the Thompson Scholar Program, and the vision that really drives its impact, both here in the community and hopefully after the students are graduating as well. And we're going to highlight how the Thompson Scholar Program expands access to the Michigan Tech education for students, how it shapes student success and outcomes, and how it establishes a legacy of service and impact for these students. So, what is the Thompson Scholar Program? So, if we're looking at top-down overview, so the program itself is a scholarship funded program by the Thompson Foundation, which is designed to support Michigan residents with financial need by combining that scholarship funding along with academic support and that service piece. And there's three really important facets that bring this together. So one is expanding that access. So currently on campus, we are funding around 450 to 500 students per year. With those numbers, it's building that sense of community. So the students are brought in a cohort. So every year, they are traveling along their journey here at Michigan Tech with that peer group. There also is a strong support network within the program as a whole. Tucker and my full-time job is just assisting these wonderful students and making sure that they have the opportunity to succeed here. And finally, inspiring service. So the commitment to volunteer and that culture of giving back is just an integral piece of this program. And it helps the students, the community, and just fosters a culture that I think is very unique in this sense and is something that I'm looking forward to see develop even more. Before we can even talk about the wonderful things that are happening on campus, wouldn't be able to do the program justice without speaking on the wonderful folks behind it. So Bob and Ellen Thompson founded the Thompson Foundation after the sale of the Thompson McCully Asphalt Road Paving Company. And the Thompson Working Families Scholarship was founded in 2011 by them. Ellen was an educator in heart, and both cared deeply for the employees who they developed very close relationships with through their time. And one observation that they had was a lot of their working family employees, it was a challenge and there was a gap present when many of them were looking to send their children through college. So the intent of the scholarship program was to bridge that gap and hopefully help as many students obtain their bachelor's degree with limited student debt afterwards. What makes a program unique, as you mentioned during the introduction, is the sense of shared accountability from the foundation to the student to the university in itself. And a lot of that is related to the philosophy that Mr. Thompson had during the running of his business, which was very unique at the time, and related, drawing in his employees in their own development. And just the philosophy to really make the world a better place than how you found it. How that accountability looks is that students on campus, there are those academic standards. So they have to maintain a certain cumulative GPA. They have to achieve community service on a yearly basis of 20 hours and, maintain good academic progress. From a university standpoint, the university pledges from a scholarship to match the Thompson Foundation contribution dollar for dollar in those scholarship funds, and then also support those students once they are here. So again, we are tasked with providing the students as many resources, connecting them with their sense of community, and also the opportunities to succeed here. So what has started on campus with 4 students in 2020 has now over 500 included, and we are growing. And so to be clear, so as I mentioned, I started a year ago. Tucker's been here 2 years. There have been so many wonderful people on campus, ranging across departments, who have been involved in this, and every single one of them worked and built this with such intention and care to honor that legacy, those philosophies that Thompson had in forming this. So to take a look at the program growth and impact here. So this is a snapshot of the projected funding of students throughout the time here. So as you can see, like in our 2025 year, this was a period of growth for us. So this is factoring in the cohorts as they're coming in, students like Hollis, who's joining us today, who have graduated out. And through time here, this is remarkable, and it's easy to look at these numbers, but we often remind ourselves these are students. So the thousands of students that will be helped by this program, this has enabled them to either come to Michigan Tech in some cases, or it's enabled them to thrive here and have experiences that they might otherwise not have. When we achieve those 700 students on campus at a time, that will be about 10% of Michigan Tech's undergraduate population. And so it's pretty substantial. I was meeting with a student the other week, and they were like, imagine, man, like we could accomplish anything in this area if we like all put our minds together. And that is an amazing thought that they do have in it, and it's true. So when we talk about that legacy, we're really fortunate at Michigan Tech. So there are 3 other schools that host this program. Ours, we have the honor of having our scholarship portion be named after 2 distinguished Michigan Tech alumni. So Rollin A. Jones, he is a Michigan Tech alum of 1958, and Mr. James E. Lindstrom was an alumni of 1969. Both spent the majority of their civil engineering careers working under Mr. Thompson as senior leaders. And you all are more or Michigan Tech alum, you know, the tenacity, the grit, the ability to work with others, and just that culture that we develop here. That was something that Mr. Jones and Mr. Lindstrom had, and something that Mr. Thompson recognized is something aligning with his hard work ethic and desire to have their nose to the grindstone. And also recognize that Michigan Tech grads are known for that. So Mr. Lindstrom, Mr. Jones would come to Michigan Tech to recruit future engineers, and they continue to give back to the university as well. We have different award types for the scholarship. So those figures there are the cohort sizes that we are currently bringing in. So we bring in 125 first-year students every year. The Achiever cohort is a unique cohort. These students are already on Michigan Tech's campus, so there are 60 of them that we can award this scholarship and join the program going into their sophomore year, their second year on campus. And then we have 10 spaces for transfer students that will come in, preferably when they have 2 years remaining at Tech from another school. So the current value of the program is $5,500 contribution from the Thompson Foundation. And as I mentioned, Michigan Tech matches that dollar for $5,500 in an institutional match, which takes the form of scholarship funds and merit-based grants. So an exciting development is, and continuing to show the giving back of that Thompson Foundation. So starting in the 2027 cohort and beyond, this number will actually increase to $6,000, and the university will match $6,000 to students that will be coming in at that cohort and following that. The requirements to keep the scholarship, to get in, the students have to have financial need. So when they complete their FAFSA, they have to have a student aid index of 16,000 or under. While they are here, they have to maintain a 2.5 QM GPA, as I mentioned. They have to be in good academic standing and be progressing towards their degree. And they have to complete those 20 hours of volunteer service per year. So, as I mentioned, we've come into this program with an amazing foundation. But to do the justice of the students and all of the work here, we basically wanted to make sure that we are supporting them like they deserve to be supported. So, a part of that was building our lines of effort. That at a base was the scholarship piece. We want to make sure these students are not only funded while they are here, that they are doing well, like they come here for that Michigan Tech education and to achieve their goals in that realm. And so we want to make sure that they're set up for academic success. We have no shortage of resources here, but we're just another connection for that network. To a service, we have many students that are coming here from the Lower Peninsula, the most of them actually. And so coming up here, instead of having to work multiple jobs or a job to take them away during their free time, they're able to give back, to become part of the Michigan Tech campus, to the surrounding community. So not only make a community through their service, but also have time to connect individually with one another as another network here. And through all of those factors, we are building a legacy. And that's something that we tell the students quite frequently. Like they are working towards this legacy of this program and upholding the legacy of the people that are believing in them. So scholarship and academic excellence. For the students coming in, one piece that is a goal that we are working towards is increasing our applicant pool, right? So we want to reach those top tier students who would benefit most from our support. So to make sure they are aware that this is an opportunity for them and to have them give them that opportunity to apply. This year, for going into the subsequent school year, we saw a 55% increase in our first year applications, which was really wonderful to see. So not only are we able to help those students and we can pick the ones that meet those criteria, but we can also identify students through there that might need other aid and support and can take advantage of some of the other scholarship programs here at Michigan Tech or other things that they might qualify for to help them. Once the students are on campus, there are both formal programs and informal programs to support and retain them here. So part of that will pull in some of those campus partnerships. So we fall under financial or fall under enrollment management. However, we have daily connection with student affairs, in particular, the Water Center for Student Success, who helps us with, and also the Student Support and Mentorship, who help us with an Excel, soon to be called Husky Connect Mentor Network. There's a course that these students take on campus their first semester to help with that transition to college life, and just overall provide them and connect them with those resources. We have to maintain an 80% program retention rate. Right now, program-wide, we're sitting at 95%. The first year cohort is one that has the most attrition, which makes it so that we can plan accordingly and make sure we take measures to set them up for success as they arrive here on campus. All right, from a service and community standpoint, so this is from the program's inception. So the students here have logged over 25,000 hours of community service, which is a large number, right? And much more than that 20 hours a year that each of them were tasked with. And that is a direct reflection of the students that are coming in here. Many of them, community service might be part of their high school experience. It's something that they enjoy doing, and this is a way that they can continue doing that once they are on campus here. Expanding campus and community partners is something they already are doing the work. That 25,000 community service hours was well before we were a department, right? So for us, Tucker and I look for ways that we can find ways that they can either reach their goals, either professionally and personally, and benefit from those. So on the left there, you see some group projects that we have and Tucker has coordinated, whether it be through the Q&L Land Trust. We do Make a Difference Day, where we were able to help the City of Hancock do their light display this year. In the top left corner, we actually have a student organization on campus now, and they arrange volunteer efforts with 31 Backpacks organization and other partnerships. And so all of that piece is not only helping the community, it's bringing the students together as well. And it gives them a say in the program's identity and the pride that it has to get across campus. And Tucker will speak more on this a little bit further, but part of that is just offering them quality programming, connection, getting feedback from them on ways that we can enrich their experience. The student organization, which we sent out feelers for who would want to start it. Within a week, we had a whole board of people that assembled to take the reins and start making those connections. And Tucker met with the board for next year yesterday, and it's just very promising and wonderful to just see the amazing things and the initiative that these students just naturally have. Um, we also have a guide system that we are piloting next year. So this is primarily focused on those first year students and transfers that are coming into Michigan Tech. So we have students that are volunteering as guides that will be reaching out to them. We're partnering them based off of interests or majors, and we'll be able to engage them over the summer, answer questions or concerns that they might have. And then be here to take them to those community events or help them find those volunteer opportunities, help them find those learning centers when they come to campus in the fall. All of this contributing to a legacy. So right now, our program graduates are sitting, this is including spring, are sitting at 112. You can see 45 are coming from spring. So you can see the reflection of our cohorts growing. And so a big piece of this is what we want to see with our alumni engagement moving forward. So while the students are here, if we're fostering that tight-knit, supportive community, hopefully we want to see that extend past. I was talking to a student the other day who met their future spouse or fiance during our orientation session. So that's an extreme story there, but it's just wonderful to see those connections that the students are building and that continues after. And we want to leverage that, right, to ensure that our alumni network can provide mentorship and guidance to the students that are walking in their footsteps, to provide feedback and connect with them on their opportunities and lessons learned that they have had. And then just inspiring that mindset of giving back, right, beyond their time here. We see a lot of students, they do a lot of community service in high school, and this gives them an opportunity to continue that. And you do things enough and it becomes not just a hobby, but a habit and something ingrained in your life. And that's something that we hope to contribute to through our efforts. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll turn back over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Nicole, for that great overview. Before we jump to questions, I want to get a little bit of input from Bethany and Hollis. So let's start with Bethany. Can you maybe share some of your experiences with the Thompson Scholar Program so far, and tell us how you found out about the program and why you decided to pursue it, and what kind of impact it's had on you?
Yeah, so I found the Thompson Scholar Program. I had toured Michigan Tech before I started my senior year of high school, and I was like, I want to go here, I want to go here. But I wasn't sure how I was going to pay for it. So I was going through the financial aid website, and the Thompson Scholar Program is, listed on there as one of the programs. I was like, oh, I think I might be eligible for this. And I applied. And then I was pretty much waiting to make my college decision. There's a college in my hometown that I was probably going to go to because it would financially make more sense to stay at home. And I got the email that I got accepted into the Thompson Scholar Program, and I was like, oh my gosh, guys, everyone, I'm going to Michigan Tech. It's decided, it's going to work for me financially to be able to do this. So it was kind of it was a really big, exciting and deciding factor for me coming here, actually. So that alone, even before I came to college, was just an incredible experience from the Thompson Scholar Program. And then coming in, we have that Nicole mentioned the class that you take your first semester, you're in the program. And at first I was kind of like, this feels really silly. I know how to do everything. I can manage my own time because that's we spend a week where we practice managing our time and things like that. And I was like, this is goofy. But actually, you kind of realize that you don't actually know all of those tips and tricks that they're covering, and you're like, obviously I knew this. But the class is also very discussion and community based. So most of the times we'd all pretty much, you can't actually sit in a circle in a lecture hall, but you kind of like we'd all sit in a circle and we just chat. And I ended up making some really close friends in the class. I would do stuff with them like outside of class. And then as time has gone on, I'm not as close with them anymore, but they're very much familiar faces. And sometimes I'll have classes with them again. And it's like, hey, I know you, and you have someone to come sit next to and catch up with. Or even at volunteer events, it's like, oh, I've met you. Like I can actually like have a conversation and ask you questions, and I know who you are and a little bit of your background to have a bit of a deeper conversation.
Fantastic. Do you think the volunteerism aspect of the program is driven you to be more involved?
Oh yeah. I love volunteering at our the rose events and then like at any of the sporting events too. And you actually get to meet a lot of people who are behind the scenes at those events too and kind of have an appreciation. And it's stuff that I would not have done. Like if there wasn't this extra fact that it's like you kind of have to do volunteering, I think I would have gotten kind of caught up in like the homework and like the other college experience stuff and not really thought to take the time and be like, oh, what can I do to give back and to like be a part of things.
That's great. All right, let's jump to Hollis real quick. Hollis, congratulations on your graduation, becoming a Husky alum. Now that you've had some time to reflect, maybe tell us about your overall experience with the program and how it made a difference in your college journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I technically was a transfer student coming in, but it was one of those little situations where I had some credits, but not much that actually applied to my overall major. So this really gave me the opportunity to kind of spread out the classes I was taking rather than rushing through everything. So I was still able to finish everything in 4 years and really take the time to become more of a part of the community than I would have been otherwise. This was my number one choice for a university for my undergrad degree. So it meant a lot to me that I was able to actually take the time to become a part of the campus rather than feeling like I needed to rush my way through just to make sure that, I was actually able to afford it.
Mhm.
Sure, I still had jobs on campus, but that's just because I wanted to keep myself busy, wanted to be able to pay rent as well without worrying about that. But I had a great time with everything overall.
Awesome. So the volunteerism aspect for you, are you more likely to volunteer now that you're out on your own in the free world? Do you think you'll continue that throughout your life?
Yeah, while it's been a little bit tricky finding things I can actually do with how busy my schedule has been between work and my graduate degree, whenever I have the opportunity to just be part of my local community and get things done, I jump in and do what I can. There's a local cat shelter that I've helped process some applications for adoptions for just to be hands on deck, do what I can remotely. And whenever there's an event on campus that I'm able to assist with, I'm happy to step in and do work there.
Okay, awesome. Good. Well, we're running up against our time here, but let's see if we can take a few questions. We'll start with a couple of the ones that we've got from some of our directors, and if there's any audience ones, we'll take those as well. If anybody can stay over for a few minutes. I guess I'll start with one. How do you, maybe Nicole or Tucker can answer this, but how do you promote the program and identify prospective students? Is it just through website or do you do more proactive activities?
Yeah, the program, we take a personal approach to our recruitment strategy, so to speak. So there is a great deal of it that is intertwined with financial aid and admissions and the communication as with the families and the students as they're coming in. A lot of connection with them as they're making their decision process. And also word of mouth also. So the students are sent communications. We can help identify ones that have maybe the most need and have access to that based off of when they're completing their financial aid pieces. So we're able to reach out to them, answer questions. Ideally, we also see a lot of referrals from current students, particularly on campus. We have counselors that receive information that are familiar. So that's primarily what we're looking at right now.
Okay, great. Um, so you've got a significant number of graduates now. Did any of them return to campus and speak with the students? Do they help you? It sounds like maybe they do help you recruit new students.
Yeah, that's something that we're definitely growing. So I can't say that there's one student that we've talked to that's been graduating that has not volunteered to make that connection. And so that's actually an effort that Tucker is really spearheading this year, which would be to have more workshops for our students based off of different majors. We do anticipate that to grow as our internal mentorship structure is continuing to grow and the students have more inter cohort connection. But yeah, we try to seek those opportunities on an individual basis now, but we're looking at more of a structured program moving forward.
Does the Thompson Foundation visit and meet with students on some frequency, or?
Tucker, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. Yes, so Foundation certainly comes and visits. They always love to see what our students are up to. And what's really fantastic about these visits is that, as I'm sure Hollis and Bethany can attest to, it's really exciting time on campus. A lot of Thompson scholars will want to come talk with them directly, share their stories. We hold a dinner to allow for some of the scholars to come and meet with the foundation. You may have seen one of the pictures in Nicole's slideshow. At one point, Mr. Thompson himself came up here along with some of their members of the foundation board to meet with students directly. So the foundation is heavily invested in Michigan Tech, but also in their students. Just hearing about the personal stories, hearing about the cool things that they're up to, and just yeah, meeting all these wonderful students.
Awesome. Looks like I don't know if the audience has got any questions. We're not getting much in our chat box, but if you do, please type them in there and we'll answer them. I guess one other one I had was the requirement of 20 hours annually, and I think Nicole, you mentioned this. It was you're running way over that, but do the students? It sounds like they typically exceed this requirement. What are the mechanisms for further participation? Do they set up and organize some of the events? Can they pick where they volunteer to any degree?
Um, yeah, so yes, the students do oftentimes go over hours. In fact, this year, we use GivePulse to track how many volunteer hours students are taking. And this year, the current average is 22 hours per student, and that's not even the end of the semester yet. And
Oh,
currently, we found that 44% of the student body that we have are going over 20 hours. So right now we're working out an incentive program in the future to encourage students to fulfill the hours more quicker, per se, into the semester. But right now, what really drives the students to go above and beyond the 20 hours is the freedom of choice they have for the most part because we don't want them to get into like for-profit work, for example, or to push out messages. We want to focus on community building initiatives. We want them to go out and find different projects that can really help the community, whether it's helping with online animal research or going and helping with community garden or even helping shoveling driveway for a couple strangers that they don't know, but there was a terrible snowstorm and they needed those driveways shoveled. So oftentimes the students will go above and beyond our recommended the required hours because they really love doing the volunteer work that they do. They find that special organization, that special set of people that they can really connect with and really lean into that volunteer work.
great story. I guess we do have an audience question. Can non-scholarship students attend the initial courses to help acclimate to college? Is that open to anyone other than Thompson scholars?
It is opened to, so that's a course that we have students that are in the program. We rely heavily on the Thompson Scholars. There's quite a few of them, so we have many sections going. But yes, that is open. That's open to all. And with the integration of essential ed, there actually is an increase in some of those students taking that class as well.
Okay, that's awesome. Here's another question. What are the 4 universities participating in the Working Family Scholarship other than Michigan Tech?
Sure. So the program, Grand Valley State is one of them. We also have Saginaw Valley and then Bowling Green. So Mr. and Mrs. Thompson are alumni of Bowling Green University. So.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And I think this one you may have answered, but is Bob Thompson's original relation to Tech? Was it through Mr. Jones, Mr. Lindstrom primarily? I think.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he did have a long-term relationship with tech through like hiring employees here, recognizing the strength of our engineer graduates. He also has been heavily, he was involved in board initiatives and things like that in the past also. So.
Okay. Fantastic. Obviously hired a lot of civil engineers too, I'm sure, throughout his tenure of career. So I guess I'll end with one last question here. Is there anything the Alumni Board of Directors or alumni in general can do to help support the Thompson Scholar mission?
Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is that this program is here because of tech graduates, essentially, right? Because of the
Mhm.
amazing work that the alumni do. And so I think sharing the story of this program, connecting with the students and mentoring, understanding that this is an option here for the students is amazing. Um, and just overall like being able to help people understand the value of this, right? So um the common themes that our student success is strengthened by the generosity, community, and service, and that can extend, past their time. This time here is important, and so support, I think, is that as this program sunsets, right, the impact will continue, and so what's being built of the program and the culture. We hope that as our graduates graduate, become part of the alumni board, and they will have that motivation to give back to the university still, and that we foster that, and then it can be something that continues long after, the time of this.
Great story. And that reminds me now we'll start to look for a alumni board member who's been a graduate of your program. I think that's a good place to start. So all right, well, we're a bit over time, so I think we're going to try to wrap this up. Thank you for your comments and thoughtful questions, and a really big thanks to Nicole, Tucker, Bethany, and Hollis for sharing an inside look at this program, how it's enabling a substantial number of students to realize their dreams and become future leaders, and give us a firsthand look at it. Really, this is really awesome. So look for our next topic to be announced soon. If you have any feedback on how we expand or improve these sessions, please just send an email to alumni@mtu.edu. And we'd love to hear from you. And I think with that, we'll wrap it up.